What's up guys, it's Wasabi and I'm back with another review. Today we have the Halo65 HE and this was sent to me by NuPhy to share with you guys. Thank you NuPhy. But as always with the content on this channel, these are my thoughts, personal opinions and experiences with the product. And now here's a quick look at the packaging because that's what you pay for too. In traditional NuPhy keyboard fashion, you got a quick start guide which also doubles up as a poster, this piece of plastic which you can use as a dust cover, the Halo65 HE itself, and this is the only colorway option at the moment, a keycap and switch puller, a 1.5 meter USB-C cable, extra keycaps, some which you'll find useful if you use this on a Mac, and that's pretty much all that's included inside the box. Now before we go any further, let's manage some expectations here real quick. Most of my viewers would already have heard about NuPhy and what they do, but for those who don't, they make pre-built keyboards and pretty good ones. What we have today is their third Hall Effect gaming keyboard release, and what's special about this one is that it's the first time that they are giving their iconic Halo design the Hall Effect gaming keyboard treatment. And this one that I have is fitted with the Gateron magnetic Jade Pro switches, and it's available for a price of $110, and if you go with the magnetic coral switches, that would make it $10 cheaper. Good news, and this part really won't age well, but there is a special pre-order offer, so both versions will be available for $10 cheaper if you order before the 15th of November. I think this is one of the more unique 65% Hall Effect keyboards out there, and by unique I mean having its own identity because there are quite many Hall Effect keyboards that look way too similar, and the 65% layout has seen the most over the year. This one in particular is a Halo keyboard, which is NuPhy's most iconic design. You got the skirting detail on the bottom and a version of the Halo ring light that shines between the top and bottom halves of the case, an LED bar on the top left of the case that can also be customized and also tells you if you have your caps lock on. This keyboard is very tightly put together. The top of the case is aluminum and the bottom is ABS, which is a combination that they usually use for their keyboards, so nothing new here. Really, it feels good for the price, and this has some good quality PVT keycaps that really make this keyboard feel solid, and there's barely any stem wobble from the Jade Pro switches. Unfortunately, I can't say the same for the coral switch option because I do not have them, but this combination of keycaps and switches does contribute to making this keyboard feel much more of a quality build. And now a little bit about the build and what's going on inside. This features a top mount, plate mounted stabilizers that are very well lubed. You got an aluminum plate, pour-on plate foam, the PCB with south-facing LEDs followed by another layer of pour-on, and then you got a silicone pad under that. The build feels substantial enough with its weight. It's about 788 grams, and for a 65% layout, considering the small form factor, I think it's just about nice. And so overall, the Halo65 HE feels very well balanced on all points and makes it feel like a quality product. As you probably already can tell by its name, the Halo65 HE is a 65% layout. I like smaller profile keyboards like this for gaming because with larger keyboards I find myself accidentally knocking my mouse against the keyboard when I game with a low mouse sensitivity. The 65% layout is great because it allows for a lot of working space on your desk, and though you lose the F row, you still got your arrow keys, which not everyone is comfortable doing without. There are no dedicated controls on this one except for the mode switch on the back of the keyboard, and I quite enjoy having a physical control to switch between keyboard profiles. You have 3 modes to customize, one for Windows, Mac, and gaming by default. Usually I only need 2, so I have one for day-to-day typing, and I have another for gaming which I use for FPS, and that has a low actuation point and rapid trigger on my movement keys. On some days when I'm disgustingly busy working on my stuff, I have meals on my setup, and with smaller keyboards I got lots of space to eat and work, which I do not recommend, but it's a lot more comfortable, especially because right now I'm working on a very small desk. The default keycaps are cherry profile double shot PVTs. Legends are very crisp and clear, and with the Gateron Jade Pro switches, these sound really good on this build. They feel smooth on the surface, a little more than I would like specifically for gaming, but really that depends on your preference. The Halo65 HE has NuPhy's Ghost spacebar, which has a silicone sound absorber and noise reduction chambers in the design, which does make the spacebar sound very satisfying on their keyboards. You also have the option to get the shine through keycap set, but this is at an additional cost, and this is really for people who want to maximize their RGB experience on the Halo65 HE. I must say that this keyboard looks pretty good with a set of black keycaps, but this one, I don't really like the font style very much. But what I can say is that they are very nice deep shade of black and are great for people who struggle to see fonts because the legends are huge. So I have the Gateron magnetic Jade Pro switches, and it's one of the 2 options with this keyboard. I've been testing all of Gateron's magnetic magnetic Jade switches, and I felt that these Jade Pros are the switch type that would appeal to the most people with how they sound and feel. And I'm glad to see it as an option here because stability is great, they are very well lubed, and feel smooth with a nice clacky sound profile. Of course, if you want a quiet typing experience, you may want to try out the Coral switches, though I can't guarantee that they will sound quieter because I haven't heard them for myself, but in general, Gateron Jade switches are made for an audible experience. How it feels typing on the Halo65 HE is on the stiffer side. I wouldn't say that it's a bad thing because this really depends on your preference. If you prefer a little bit of softness when bottoming out the keys, I don't think this is one that you'll find comfortable typing for long hours. But on a positive note, the stiffness is nice for gaming. It makes the keys feel very consistent across the board, and what I noticed with this keyboard is that it brings out the clacky sound profile of the switches really well, and the clackiness of Jade Pro sound really good. You have 3 typing angles with the adjustable back feet, 5, 8.5, and 12 degrees. And if you prefer, they also have a wrist rest for this keyboard, and it's got that beautiful frosted look, which I don't know, I think it's one of the best looking wrist rests on the market. And now here's a quick sound test to give you a better idea of how this keyboard sounds. When it comes to RGBs and lighting effects, NuPhy keyboards always have an awesome variety to play with, and this one has 20 backlight modes. The LED bar, key backlights, and the halo ring light that goes around the keyboard can be customized. But something to note about the halo ring light that goes around the case is that at the moment, it can only be controlled with a combination of keys on the keyboard and not on the software. Connectivity-wise, this keyboard is wired only and has a true 8K polling rate with a latency of 0.3 milliseconds. The PCB has a scan rate of 2500 Hz, and this is really more than you would need in a keyboard, but it is a gaming keyboard, and if they can make it faster, I'd say why the hell not. This keyboard works with Windows, Mac OS, Linux, and even iOS and Android as well. The cable is a rubber material, and this is something that they have been doing with all their keyboards. I don't hate it, but I think that using a braided cable like what most gaming keyboards use these days would be a nice touch, because those cables are a lot easier to manage and are less susceptible to shine and staining over time. The web-based software NuPhy IO is really good. It's not the best in the market, but it's second best in my books. You can really tell from the changelog of each update that they know how important good software is for this category of keyboards. But anyway, the Hall effect keyboard features that you have: adjustable actuation and rapid trigger, of course, SOCD, mod tap, dynamic keystroke, and their latest hyper tap, which is a feature that I'm not very supportive of as a gamer. But nonetheless, with NuPhy's Hall effect keyboards, you have all the features that you could ever need today. And of course, you can remap your keys, set up some macros, and adjust the lighting effects for the backlights and the LED bar. Now, this is something that I say quite often in my videos, but there are a lot of people in the world, so for people who are new to Hall effect keyboards, the software is a big part of the experience because you will spend quite some time hopping on and off the software to tweak your actuation points and rapid trigger sensitivity. Sometimes even between games, which is what I find myself doing even today, and at least until you found your perfect settings. So good software makes the experience so much more enjoyable, which is value to me, and I'm pretty sure it'll be value to you as well. This keyboard is a very nice experience off the box, and it's got all the performance and features that you could want from a gaming keyboard today with a quality build. With some keyboards, most often keyboards I end up not reviewing, when you take it out of the box, you feel it and the keyboard looks and feels cheaper than you thought. You touch the keys feel rattly, and you type on it and it sounds very thin and dry. And then you you start looking hard for things about the keyboard to hopefully make sense of the price. And well, with the Halo65 HE, I'm not saying that this is the best keyboard in the world, but you get none of that. I have no problem with it. It's a very safe keyboard, and I think today with so many new brands trying to get their foot in the Hall Effect gaming keyboard category, a keyboard that does well on many points is a job well done. NuPhy keyboards are perfect for people who want a good experience from the get-go at a fair price and don't need premium and expensive materials with the build. Now in conclusion, what are 3 things that I like about this keyboard? The first thing is that each brand should have an iconic design that people can recognize at a glance, and for NuPhy, it's their Halo style keyboards. So on that note, I've been waiting for them to do a version of their Halo style keyboards with magnetic switches, so this is a release that I really appreciate. The second thing is the typing experience is really good for a Hall Effect keyboard, and the Jade Pro switches sound really good in this build. The third thing is that nothing else really stands out for me, but I mean it in a good way. This keyboard is not mind-blowing or game-changing, but the build quality is good, the performance is great, and the web-based software is fantastic, so this is a very complete experience. And now, what are 3 things I feel could be improved with this keyboard? Customizability, and this is where I think NuPhy can add more value to their keyboards in future when they are ready. Because this would add another layer of value for people who want to use this keyboard as their main, and the whole concept of mix and matching of colors is quite fitting for NuPhy if you think about it. The second thing is I'm not so fond of their Hall Effect keyboards being subjected to having this grey theme. Gamers today enjoy rotating their gaming peripherals, especially their mouse and mousepad. It's always fun to change things up, but the grey theme of their Hall Effect keyboards is one that I have quite a difficult time matching with the rest of my peripherals. So while having an iconic color is good to categorize the product lines, I think that for launches, especially if it's for gamers, having say a white or black option alongside this one would be more impactful. The last thing is that it would have been nice to see the Halo style lighting from their Halo65 HE, because the Halo light on this one looks good in pictures and some scenes in my video, but when you are seated on your setup, you really can't see it. I mean, if it's possible, but anyway, long story short, I feel the Halo lighting on this keyboard could be a little more prominent. And now, final thoughts and what do I think of its value? The NuPhy Halo65 HE is simply a wholesome Hall Effect keyboard experience. You got awesome quality keycaps, the Jade Pro switches are the most wonderful clacky magnetic switches to me, you got excellent web-based software, and more performance than you could ever need. When I think about it, all that would stop people from buying this is if the design doesn't appeal to them, or if they want something with more modability potential and compatible accessories on the market. I think what's really impressive is that the pre-sale price of the Halo65 HE is starting from $89.95, which for a keyboard that does this much sounds like a very good deal to me. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful in any way, please leave a like and subscribe to support the channel, and I guess I'll see you in the next one.